The wildest thing that has ever happened to me in the insurance business. Well, there's a lot of them, but let me pick one that's the kind of the weirdest claim story, because insurance covers people's negligence, right? It doesn't cover your intent, just your negligence. So what happened was an individual that we insured had a 3,000 square foot home. It's a sizable home, but they had some problem with bugs, right? Bugs isn't covered itself. So we had some problem with bugs. So you're supposed to get those bug bombs. You know what I'm talking about? A bug bomb is you put that little canister down for you youngins that don't remember. You push the button and the aerosol comes out, and the aerosol fills up the house and kills all the bugs. So the instruction said use one for every 1,000 square feet. So if you have a 3,000 square foot house, okay, people, this is math. I know there's a lot of insurance agents on here. You guys know math. It's going to be 3. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. It's 3. One of our customers, one of our insureds, used 32. Let me repeat that number. Somehow the decimal place got mistaken, 32. So you're saying,
and it got rounded down to 2.
Right. 32. Who cares? Right. 3 point. I don't know. But who cares? Right. What's the big deal? Here's the problem. He forgot to unplug the refrigerator. So when the refrigerator kicked on, it produced a spark.
Oh, no.
The house, let me see if I can use my hands. The house went, and basically it was just like one of those like movie sets. It went, and it just fell apart.
Oh, man.
And of course, we covered that loss, as we should. But my rule to people is don't use 32 when it calls for 3. My name is Stacey Giulianti. I'm with Florida Peninsula and Edison Insurance Company, a carrier based out of South Florida in the good old state of Florida.
So good.
And I'm an insurance dude.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.
Oh, look at that.
Boom.
That's right.
That's right. A fantastic story.
Yep.
So I've used those, right? And obviously it's going to kill bugs, within 1,000 square feet. So they're in there, they're popping the tops of these things. I mean, I don't care what kind of mask you have on. You're whiffing a lot of stuff, but I mean, imagine after 5?
I'm not sure exactly how they physically did it. They may have had some friends do it, may have had a bunch of people come over, each hit a couple of them and run out. I don't know exactly. I don't remember the case. This was probably 10 years ago or 12 years ago, but that thing kicked on. Now, it could have been that it wasn't the refrigerator at all, but some of the bugs were just, lighting up.
Right.
And they set it off. Because
when did this happen?
When did it happen?
Post legalization or before?
Pre?
Oh no, this was before. This was
okay.
Yeah, this was like 10, 12, 13 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Back when the bugs were smoking, just cigarettes, I guess.
Don't smoke. Unplug your fridge, people. That's my rule.
Wow. So is there any chance that they thought this through and thought if we do 32 of them, the house will blow up, then it will be covered?
Here's the answer. I don't know how to say this right. I interviewed these people and there was no chance they were that smart to do that. There was no chance.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, all your personal stuff is destroyed and things of that nature. I will say that we find many times that there is fraud. One of the departments that I oversee at our insurance company at Florida Peninsula and Edison is the special investigations unit, the anti-fraud unit. And so, we do see people do that. This was not it.
Right. You're like, no,
crazy.
No, couldn't have done it. You're like, it makes sense that they use 32.
Sometimes you feel like, you're going to, how like let's face it, people have been to a bathroom and they leave it and they've left some scent in that bathroom. Not us, none of us. But you've walked in there, you spray a spray. You're like, one's not doing it. Next thing you know, you're spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
This is that to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? Just spray it.
Yeah. Just spray it.
So Stacey, tell us, how did you get into this crazy business of insurance?
I appreciate the question. And I'm a big fan of the Insurance Dudes podcast. I will say that I was a lawyer, went to law school, and University of Miami, although I went to Boston University for undergraduate and then went to University of Miami. And I became just a regular good old fashioned lawyer. And I started by representing policyholders and suing insurance companies. So
Perfect.
yes. So if
Great.
you had a claim that was denied or wasn't paid, whether it was auto, a collision claim, a comp claim, homeowners, windstorm, life insurance, you name it. If they didn't pay or if they paid less, business insurance, et cetera, I would go after them. So I did that for about 12 years. And during that time, towards the end of it, make a long story short, I met a guy who was an Allstate agent, my buddy Clint. He was an Allstate agent for 17 years. He started off in the booth. He's a few years older than me. He started off when it was part of Sears. If you guys, okay,
Yep.
Allstate was part of Sears. And so he would be in a booth and this is not sexist. This is really how it was. Women would be doing the shopping back then in the old days, and the men would be in the auto section. So they put the insurance in the auto section, whether it was home or auto insurance, they put it in the section, and the guys were bored. And so you try to sell them insurance. And so that's how it was back then. That's the way the world was. And so he was an Allstate agent. He came to me again about 18 years ago and said, hey, in the state of Florida, there's a lot of unplaced homeowners policies because it's such a problem state, Florida. There's hurricanes, there's fraud, there's fires, there's tornadoes. There's we've had claims where crocodiles come into the house. So there's problems here. We'll talk about that. And so he said the government has policies that they'll give to you. They'll give to you to start a business. So he and I put together a business plan. Again, making a stupid long story even shorter. We put together a business plan. We went to two friends that we had. Both of them were Harvard MBAs. Okay. We're an agent and a lawyer. We're smart, but we're not Harvard MBAs. Okay. Maybe some of us are. I mean, I'm sure there's agents and people that do everything. So these guys asked us literally 100 questions. They gave us 100 questions, literally around 90 something. We answered all the questions. We put together a business plan. And they investigated it and said, you know what? This is true. We can go to the state of Florida, get the policies nobody wants, and we'll do that. And so we put in our business plan, Clint and I, at the time we were in our 30s, late 30s. And we said, you know what? We believe that by year 3, we'll do $100 million in revenue by year 3. The Harvard MBAs and a couple other guys we got to join us later laughed. I mean, your kid walks in. I don't know if you guys have kids and they say, I'm going to start a business, Dad. Here you are, kid. And so
Okay, kid.
Right. Okay. What do you guys know? What does the dudes know? Me and my buddy Clint, we're the dudes.
Yeah.
So what happens? Actually, by year 3, we were at about 150 million. And we started in 2005, and today we do $525 million in annual revenue.
There you go.
Wow.
We do.
That is fantastic.
Yep. Florida Peninsula. You can look us up, Edison. It's a combined, it's a combined company. But so that's how we started, and that's how I got into it.
Did you do a victory dance around the Harvard MBAs?
I did. I was twerking because in South Florida we twerk.
You started it.
Oh, I started. What was that one that you do like this that I can't do? It's the
flossing.
Flossing.
Yeah.
I can't floss.
The name's
I can't either. Yeah, my body just says, "What do you like?" It's confused by the thought of me.
What's right? I can't do it.
Yeah, kids can do it though, right?
Yes,
kids can see it for the first time and just automatically do it. They're just
disturbing.
That is awesome. So, take us back to that early win. How did that get going? Like, I'm sure you were doubting yourself a little bit at the beginning. Like, I mean, I think we could do this, but.
We did. We doubted ourselves. And again, we had a lawyer who was a policyholder lawyer. I wasn't like a corporate lawyer. I wasn't working for some big company. And my buddy was an Allstate agent, just a retail agent. Okay. Like a lot of people listen to your podcast. But he loved doing it, but he had an idea that, look, we can start something and we can take policies to get started from the government. They give you the money, they give you the policies. And then from there, you're legit and you can sell, you can file your forms and your rates and sell your policy to everybody else that needs that policy. So getting the money, again, the Harvard MBAs knew some people to be able to put together the money. But I will tell you, back then, it wasn't a lot of money. I think you needed something like $8 million to start an insurance company. $8 million. That's it. And it's $8 million is not a small amount of money, but I'm sure where you guys live, there could be houses within a couple of miles that are $8 million or $5 million. What I mean? Certainly within a 50-mile radius, if you have a 20-mile radius, there's $8 million houses, or it's not that much money.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So why don't you talk about, you scaled super quick, right? You built this from 0 to 120 million in 3 years, 2 years. So
3 years.
How did you build that team? How did you create the infrastructure to support that in such a short amount of time?
It's a great I'll give it two answers. The first answer is that there really was no infrastructure. When we started, including the 6 executives, we had 2 people answering the phone. It was answering the phone in like a financial bookkeeper. We had 8 people. So we didn't have anybody. So there was no infrastructure.
Okay.
However, we did within a certain number of months, maybe like 6 months, we outsourced phone calls, billing, and all of that to an outside local company that did it. So we outsourced it. We didn't have any of that in-house. Now we have a lot of it insourced. We have about 250 employees. We lease directly or vendor another 100, 150 employees that just work for us through a vendor relationship. But we still have about 250 full-time real employees. So originally the answer is we had none. On the other side of it, when we did what they call the takeout, when we took those policies from the government, from the pool, and a lot of states have pools of insurance policies, auto, homes. This was just home, renters, and condo unit. When we took out those policies, we had to appoint their agents. So just like you guys, we had to appoint their agent. So we still paid them their commission. In Florida, it's normally about a 10% commission on homeowners. And right now, the average premium in Florida is about $3,500.
Woo!
So 10% of that at least per policy, and it usually doesn't even change on renewal. It's not like it goes down. It's usually around the same. Again, depends on the areas and different carriers, of course. So basically, we had to appoint them, and we took out originally, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what we did. The first takeout was maybe 30 or 40,000 policies. That we didn't have 40,000 agents, obviously, but there were probably 2,000 agents. So we appointed 2,000 agents. They were now Florida Peninsula agents, and later in 2010, Edison. And so now they also had the right to service those policies and sell policies for us. So they got someone else comes in. Hey, no offense to the bigger companies, the State Farms, the Allstates, they don't write in Florida very much because we're a dangerous state. So companies like ours, the quote, smaller companies, 500 million annual revenue and not 5 billion annual revenue, but we're still we're still Demotech A exceptional rated, mortgages accept us. We still got plenty of surplus and, $1 billion in claims paying capacity. Those agents were writing, and now they had another market, and that was us. So
super cool.
Got all those.
I
agents.
love it.
Yeah.
So going from so lean with that kind of growth, what were some of the takeaways to build that team quickly and create consistency?
Well, you're assuming there's consistency. And I think a lot of times because I've watched your podcast and I've watched other podcasts, and I know a lot of your guests have so much confidence and consistency. And the fact is most of them are full of it. Some of them are, they're all amazing business people, businessmen and women, but a lot of times they don't start that way. You stumble into it. You stumble to greatness. That doesn't mean you don't work hard. I get up in the morning. I used to have to be at court sometimes for a 7:45 in the morning hearing. No one in law school tells you judges sometimes start before 8 in the morning and you've got to drive there and park. Okay. So I'm used to getting up. I'm used to working hard. I'm used to staying up late. Look, I'm only 22 years old and look what I look like.
Right.
Joking. So the fact is that you have to try to, when you're scaling or trying to build, what you learn is you're not going to have the whole plan. You have to stumble and you have to try things. And when something works, you stick with it. Now, there are good outsourced people, right? Even now, we get 10,000 phone calls, let's say a month, something like that, 10 or 12,000 phone calls Non-claims, just, my mortgage changed, or an agent calling saying, can you appoint me? So we got 10 or 12,000 a month. You have to outsource some of that. And so those people are experts at what they're experts at. We're experts at what we're experts at. And so as long as you have people supporting you and you know what your weaknesses are, that's how you scale it. You don't have to do everything in-house because you're going to be less efficient, in my opinion.
Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over $10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.